Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
All right. I wanted just to bring something up then about self-inquiry, if you've heard about it. Yes, most people have heard about it. Yeah. Uh, it comes from the Vedas, I think, which is supposedly the oldest scriptures in the world. And Ramana Maharshi sort of reinvigorated with it, with them. He was a guy in India. And so there's a very nice, very short explanation of some things about it that get people confused. So here he goes. He says, when we inquire within, who am I? The I concerned is the self, the small s, yes? Yeah. It's not, you're not asking what you are, you're really asking what you're not. Yeah. So there's the one thing. So that which is going to be asked with the question, who am I, is this, he uses the word ego. I like the word self. Yes? Okay. It is that which makes the inquiry also. So that which is being asked is also that which is asking. So it's self is going to negate self, you see? So that which you're not is going to ask, who am I, to that which you're not. When this stumps both of them, it usually triggers a pause, and there you are. Yeah. The pause seems to make those two things stop, but there's something still there. Yes. In other words, your channel doesn't go off the grid. You're there, and there at that very moment, there's been a negation of the two poles. That which asked the question, who am I? And that which was asked of the question, who am I? Yeah? Both aspects of ego or self. So when you ask from whence I come, it's what you're not asking what you're not. Yeah, it's beautiful, really. With the hopes that they'll negate each other. And there you are. So you would think if you were that and it got negated, you would stop, yes? But you don't hear anything from the one who's asking after a while, and you don't hear anything from the one who's asked. Yet there's hearing going on. Yeah? There's awakeness going on. But the one that was supposed to be awake is not, and the one who also supposed it was awake is not. Yeah? But we are. See the beauty of it? The simplicity of it. So you sit here, and if you ever use that question, who am I? You're using what you're not to sort of prod what you're not. And it's sort of like the thorn, taking out the first thorn, and you throw both thorns away. You see? So there's one sense that you feel has been disturbing you, sense of self, but now you're still, there's an act of being identified as the other sense of self, which is that policeman and thief thing. So he goes here, another paragraph later. To ask the mind, the small, let's say the mental process, to kill itself is like making the thief the policeman. Yeah. So when you set out on the course of destroying ego, or whatever, however you want to use it, or I'm going to vanquish self and finally be free, to ask this mind to kill itself is like making the thief the policeman. He will go with you and pretend to catch the thief, but nothing will be gained. So you must turn inward and see where the mind, that sense of self, arises from. Not the one that you want to kill, but the killer of the other one. Yeah? When people that I've met who are can be incredibly advanced, or whatever you want to call it, clear, but they're not clear on the second aspect. Yeah. They may believe they're asking, who am I, to that which they're not. Yeah. Or but they miss something, and then they tend to have the more they sort of practice, the more agitated they are. Yeah. It's sort of like the spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing that which you're questioning. How can they destroy it? Yes. So it's beautiful. So I just want to go through this again. When we inquire within, who am I? The I concerned is the ego. It is that which makes inquiry also. So it's the ego that's doing the inquiry, and it's the ego that's being questioned. You clear on that? It's important, eh? In other words, in this like policeman interrogating the thief, there's no you. Yeah. When they stop, there is a feeling, you get it. I remember when I would do it, it would be, who am I? And then there would be, well, it's me, like an echo. And then, who is this me? And then it would just stop. Yeah. And then the thing that was inquiring would pause at the same time, even though it thought it was different. Yes. So the one, what you're not, thinks it's different from the other, what you're not. So it's funny, when the thief stops, the policeman stops, which is really, really flipped out for the policeman aspect, because it thought it was different. It thought it was running the interrogation, but it gets negated in the event of the interrogation. Do you see? So instead of like the view being focused on one or the other, it's sort of panoramics, and you see both as not you. Yeah? There's relief there. So I'm going to just say it over again, because it's just 2 little paragraphs out of something I got when I was in India, for like a nickel at the Sri Ramana bookstore, Sri Ramana Maharshi bookstore. Maybe not even a nickel, maybe like whatever. So that when we inquire within, who am I? The I concerned is the ego. So the I, which we're asking, is, let's say, the ego. To me, I rather call it the self. Yeah. It is that which makes inquiry also. So the ego is asking the ego, who am I? For the point of what? Not an affirmation, but a negation. Yes? And not only negate one pole, negating I'm not that, meaning the thief, and then suddenly all the identification gets sucked into the policeman. People I know here have gone through this, where they become like very rigid spiritualists, and they're not fun to hang out with in a lot of ways. Yeah. They don't want to waste one breath. It's constantly, it's just way too much. Yeah. So this is like half measures is going to fail you. Half measures are going to fail you. If you see the thief as something other than you, though what's seeing the thief is taken to be you. Yeah. Because what's seeing the thief is presented as the seer. Yeah. So when you see that and that as not you, there's space there. Yeah. There's relief there. There's not relief from one and then a giant shift of anxiety towards the other. There's relief from both. Yeah. Policeman and thief. Because there was a recognition that they're the same. They have the same nature, which is inherently empty. They're not you. Yeah. So there you go. So again, non-duality, I feel, arose from the activity of duality as a response to it. Yeah. And the response to it wasn't a dance. The dualistic dance was a negation of it, not two. Yeah. So it just negates it. How does it negate it? Well, it's based on the fact that what's looking is what you're looking for. The seeker is the sought. So that whole dualistic seeker sought is compressed as the seeker is the sought. Yes? Time and space, bam. And the immediacy could only be an aspect of being because there's no moment, no time to become. You are that. Yes? It doesn't happen in a flash. The flash would take a second. It's always happening. Therefore, it seems like it's not happening. Just like the example of the fish in the water. Yeah. The difference for the fish wouldn't be anything different about the water or about the conditions, but the recognition of a condition that's already there, which is I'm in water. Yeah. I'm surrounded in water. Yeah. That's not breaking news. It's a fact. But that unsuspected becomes suspected. There's an awareness of it. And then what happens? Find out. Yeah. What I found over the years was I lost interest in a lot of stuff that I thought was really interesting for a long time. And basically, why the interest I had in all these things was I was hoping they were going to help me escape. Yeah. As self, from self. Yeah. I figured I had named the thief. Now the policeman was going to go off and live a joyous, happy life. But it didn't come to pass. Then it got cleared up. And that's the last thing to take notice of, really. It just got cleared up. Yeah. For the point of describing it and stuff like that, it's, yeah, if it turns into a poem or a song or a express prayer, fantastic. It's like all art projects, yeah? But it's indescribable. You just... Oh. All right, well, if you have any questions or you want to share or whatever, jump right in. Yeah.
David's jumping in.
I refuse to answer David, so move on to the next person. Someone else jump in.
Well, he can just talk.
All right, David, come on.
Paul,
Yep, I'm here. I can hear you.
yeah, when you get when you go to bed at night, or when you sleep, what you're not, like the two things of what you're not, obviously don't seem to interact with each other. You know what I mean? I mean, you can wake up first thing in the morning and they start it starts going on again pretty quick. Like some mornings it doesn't for me, some it does. But why is that? Because I feel like while you're laying there asleep, you're still tasting, touching, hearing. I reckon you're even still seeing with your eyes shut. Like I can shut my eyes and I see orange and all sorts of things. So,
but there isn't a sense of being aware of that as an other. Yeah. There's no sense of the one who's narrating and the narrated. There's no feeling of Paul. That's the relief. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, you're going to twitch your nose if a bug lands on you. But there's no one writing a story. Yeah. Yes, the court clerk isn't in there, writing down the whole thing. Yes, that's the relief.
Yeah. And thanks for that. The other thing I'd ask is, I always perceive I get myself into sticky situations over the years, turning molehills into mountains, and I still do sometimes, but recently, just the last couple of times that some sticky situations came up concerning someone else as well as me, and I just got out of there. I actually, the other day or the other night, I got up, put on my jeans, put on my clothes, grabbed my dogs, grabbed my car and come in here and slept at work. I'm lucky at work, I've got a couch upstairs, I can do that. And I feel like that's a better option for me, because for years I'd run towards a fight, and I perceived that I loved getting into them, like the small mind or whatever would like, the more you said to me or did to me, I'd go back just as hard. But then the next day I noticed, and it was a funny thing, that what I'm not's trying to make me feel guilty for leaving. You know what I mean? Trying to say that's the wrong.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hey, it's going to constantly fish. Yeah. This is mechanical. It's not like it's whistling next to the reservoir and decides to throw a hook in. That's what it does. It doesn't. It's not like a choice, and it's not your choice. Yeah.
It's not a part-time fisherman. It's fishing all the
time. And sometimes you're lucky when it's quite mundane and ordinary, gabble going on. But even when it seems to be a CNN news flash and shit, there's still peace there. Yeah. Because you're not of it. Yeah. This idea of, see, in a sense, in your wherever, let's call it the innermost, like we call it in AA, you'll know in the innermost, you're not that. That which, the activity of that doesn't need to be convinced. It's the convincing of you, of the innermost, that brings you relief from it. Trying to hold on and wait and try to make it get something it can't get. Yeah, just move on. Yeah, it's going to do what it does. It's going to throw pride in there or guilt or something. Yes, it has no, it's not, it's fishing for attention and interest. Yes, it doesn't have the stage. It doesn't have the light to run the production it would like. It has to sort of get our attention into its story. Yeah. And how it does that, it sells its story as our story. Yeah. And so
that's the beautiful thing that's changed for me, because what you just said there, I see that a lot. I know it's a trick being played, and I have a lot of great, all my days are great, but I have some better than others where it's just a mumble. It's just very incoherent, you know what I mean? And that's happening more and more, which is very nice,
And the thing is, David, that which has the story does not see it doesn't have a story. Something other than that activity sees the falseness of the activity. Don't wait to convince the activity to have its come to Jesus moment, because it probably won't. Yes. You see it from somewhere other than that. Yeah. So it will go about, you can have the most incredible awakening, let's call it, and the next day your head is just as mundane as it always is. It goes and throws the hook in and says, you blew it, you should have stayed in India longer, or but it's just You may still be amazed, but you can't be surprised. It's just mechanical.
It's funny you say that. I had a terrific day, like, I don't know, just a recognised terrific day a couple of days ago. And at 8 o'clock, at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, it started to tell me that the day was absolute shit, and straight away I sort of went, no, it just wasn't shit. It was like a fucking terrific day today.
Exactly. So the system doesn't have to be brought to a sense of belief about what we're entertaining, because the message isn't to the system. Yeah. The system is an activity that it seems to encompass everything, but it has a very small area, literally. Yeah. The space around it has no fucking idea about it. It's just, yeah. And so the dualism of it is, I know it's not me. It doesn't know it's not me. Yeah. It's just that simple. If you are more relied on it knowing it's not you, that's going to be a lot of praying and hoping and everything. If you see it, yeah, I don't mean look in it, see it, yeah. There's an incredible value in realizing it's never going to get it. It just isn't. Yeah. It will surrender and fit itself around the message if it has to, but it doesn't grok it. Yes. It's just, and it's not of the nature that we are. Like they say in like shamanism, the old Castaneda shit, that the head is like a foreign installment. Yes. Yes. It's meaning foreign. It's not of us. Yeah. It may seem, we may seem to be in it, or it may seem to be in us, but it's not of us. Yeah. So recognizing the in from the of, to me, is the key. Yeah. Don't waste any more time trying to see the of from the in, because it just doesn't. Well, whatever. That's the message. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, David. You ready for Matthew?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Paul. Good to see you. So I want to go back to the fish in the water. The fish suddenly becomes aware of the water. Is that equivalent to the big mind, or is it that equivalent to the small s self becoming aware that there's a big mind, a big s self? Is that
No, it's not a very good. All these imageries aren't equivalent, because we use imagery because that which is indescribable.
right?
So there is no fish in the water. Yes?
Okay.
The fish doesn't know it's in the water. We're talking about us, and there's an appearance called Paul, which has the body of what we call a human. But there's also a possibility of an ofness that we can see from, not as the fish or as the human body, but as our awareness. Yeah.
So
basically, the fish never gets it that it's in the water.
So the fish becomes aware that it is the water.
Well, the fish doesn't, but an awareness becomes there's an awareness of that, yes, but the fish doesn't. Yeah.
Right, but the fish's awareness realizes, I'm the water, I'm not selfing. I see this action figure, that's a fish.
Yes.
But I'm the water with that happens to be attached to this body that's a fish. So,
No, I wouldn't go there. I don't really, but yeah.
yeah,
Follow
okay, I don't want
that.
to
It's fine.
torture I don't want to torture that analogy too much, but I understand now, because I get it. I'm not this action figure. I'm not the small s self. I'm not the policeman or the thief.
Yes.
Right? That is consciousness. I'm the ocean. I'm not the wave, right? I'm not selfing. Being. I'm seeing, hearing,
Yes.
right?
And basically, uh, you know, being doesn't sit for like a family portrait. You don't catch being.
Yeah.
Yeah. In like a sort of an informal moment. It's just so it's indescribable and stuff like that. So you can point, but the pointing isn't specific. Yes.
Right. So I'm being, so like death and other things like a wave, I don't worry about crashing into the shore because I'm the ocean.
If
So,
you worry, it's not you. Yes.
right. The
Yes.
ocean does it.
Yes.
Now, but Paul, the ocean is aware of the wave. It knows there's a wave on it. This consciousness of that
I
I'm
don't know if
conscious,
that's true or not. I don't know if that's true. I would say the ocean is aware of an ocean. Something's making up the idea there's a wave. Yeah. I don't know if it's the ocean doing that.
okay, so you've
I
talked
would
about
say that's the mental processes of making an aspect of the ocean and calling it a wave. Yes.
okay, so I get it. I'm not the police. I get all that, but I see the consciousness that I believe I am, because I'm not the action figure. I'm not these thoughts. I'm not these feelings. So I negate into the consciousness that I am, but the consciousness that I am, big S self, big mind, is aware of this action figure and is also aware of you, Paul, right? I see you.
Let's say it's aware. I don't know if it's aware of an action figure. I think an action figure thinks everything is aware of it as an action figure. I don't believe that's true. But I wouldn't try to reach so hard with understanding. It's going to fail you also.
Right. So that's the feeling, the sensing that I sense something really different, but this beautiful mind of mine always wants to figure out what it is, which is the trap.
Well, there you go. So the senses, yes.
Yeah. I'm with,
Yeah.
thanks, Paul.
The stretching, like trying to reach with understanding, it's not going to grasp anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will fail
Right.
you, which is great because you know we hold things in high regard and they're valuable, but in certain cases they're a disservice when they're relied upon. Yeah.
I get the mental structure is so clever. It's constantly, like you said before with David, fishing. And it's like with me, it was like, hey, Matthew, I'm going to bring you to serenity and peace. Just follow me and we'll go, and I'm like, that was the trap. I was following the mind. And the mind is,
Yes.
even though I now realize I'm not little m mind, it's constantly trying to hook itself and say, what's going on? And that's why it's saying, let's try to figure this out. Let's not just sit with grokking. Let's really, draw a 2x2 matrix and fill out the matrix and figure out everything that's going on. And I sense that's what you're saying to me. It's like,
Yes. Again, understanding to me is more of a, let's say, a mitt that something gets thrown into, not a way of reaching for something.
Yeah. I'm complete, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah. So, like in recovery, we have a statement, being placed in a position of neutrality with no thought or effort on your part. Some effort on people's part was trying to understand that. Yes.
Yeah. What's interesting, Paul, I wrote you, I was doing this 10-day fast. I'm on the 10th day, I have much more clarity of your message after fasting for 10 days. It's interesting that I get the insight is clearer for me.
When I was first doing the talks, that was one of the requirements, but no one followed it, so I had to drop it.
That's funny.
Fasting. No one's been listening to me ever since, so it doesn't matter.
When I'm fasting, there's no nutrients for the brain to grab onto, so it's letting go. Just
Yes,
Thanks.
yes. But you see how, and sometimes when people are attempting to understand, there's effort involved. You almost see their faces; they scrunch up and they're trying to. A lot of this is without thought or effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And look,
just
I'm worried that
you
yeah.
hear that the floor is very weak, and then when you fall through the floor, you get an aha, and it just keeps all these things that you thought was sound and reliable. You fall through them, and then the echo of the satsang, aha, yeah. So it's true. It's really cool. The message verifies itself in your own experience. Yeah.
Right, and the fast, not what I'm learning is the fast is not only helping my body, this action figure's biological issues, but it weakens the mental structure enough so I can hear you.
Oh, great. Great.
It's fascinating observation.
See, the thing is, I know if I would fast, I'd be committed probably the third day.
Well, you'd be without your coffee machine.
They would tie lead weights onto my ankles and I'd be floating away. I'd have to call Amelia every 10 minutes.
For sure.
Ground me. I use eating to keep myself here a lot of the time. It works. It's a good anchor.
That's because you're not a food addict. That's why it works. I'm a food addict.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Matthew. I'm happy you're getting the care you need. Yes, very good.
See you, Paul.
Yes.
Thanks, Matthew. Ready for Emerson?
See, this is the beauty. 1 second, Emerson. This is the beauty. So an understanding is presented, and then it's sort of like coaxes out the desire or the reliance of understanding, and so understanding comes out. Try and understand that which can't be understood, and it's awesome. Yeah, you can really see it because it doesn't get fed. Really, it goes out. It comes back with nothing, and there's a great revelation in that. Yeah. If your devices that are being used were constantly being fed, you wouldn't notice something. When they grasp and there's nothing to get, you see the grasping, don't you? It's naked. You see it. Yeah. All right. Emerson, yes.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Paul. All right, I'm going to give this a try. So the policeman and the thief negate each other, and they're small s self, but they don't really exist, even though they seem to have a lot of power and run the show. So if once the policeman and the thief are negated, what's left? What is
Find out.
Huh?
Find out what's always been there to begin with. Yes. Yes. What's always been there to begin with, that's what's left. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a let's say all the attention drawn to the narration, usually that impulse is rooted in that it's about you, yes? Because you don't have it for other people most of the time, or not anywhere close to the extent you have it for you. No fucking way. Even your kids and shit like that. So here it goes. So this you is going to ask this other you that seems to be bothering it, who am I? Yeah. And then the other one is probably going to go me. And then the other one playing the role of policeman is going to go, who is this me? And then the me is going to, that false I doesn't have an answer. And there and then, when the thief stops, the policeman stops because they're the same fucking thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yes? Or no thing. They're of the same material, so to speak. But when thought about or thought from, they're taken to be completely different. So when the thief has been objectified, the policeman, the aspect of the policeman is now presented as the subject, which is duality, yes? Object, the thief self, subject, the police self. So the police self is interrogating the object self, yeah? This is what non-duality negates, the subject and the object. With this example, the thief and the policeman. A lot of people get to see the thief, but they don't see that the policeman that's now walking the beat, keeping an eye on the thief, is the same, from the same cloth. Yeah? This is the clarity of non-duality. It negates not one to reaffirm the other, it's a negation of both. And then there's neither, yes?
Right.
And then, of course, they come and appear again. But now, the hand having to see, being the witness of a moment when there was a handless glove and another handless glove. Now, when the puppet show continues, there's a difference in the audience, yes? You're not completely engaged in the battle of the gloves. Because you saw something. Yeah. There was an awareness. When I say saw, it's not vision, it's awareness, yeah? The seeing of mind, awareness. Yeah. Not directed, just available. There's no direction there's nothing directing the awareness. There's an awareness of, and then it's almost as if your whole life you were looking at a checkerboard thinking it was chess, yeah? And then suddenly it's recognized that it's checker, yeah? So it changes your strategy, so to speak. Yeah, so.
Okay.
See, I used to, at a period of time, self-inquiry, I was in India and stuff, and I was quote unquote doing it. And in that moment of space when the negation occurred, things were quite obvious. There's no one there. But as soon as time kicked in, now the thief was found out, but the policeman wasn't, yeah? And I believed the policeman was me just as much as I believed the thief was me earlier, yes? Yeah. So, I think the mission is a rotation. If you go halfway, it's not going to probably produce what you were hoping it would make available. If you can allow the rotation to complete itself, negating, I feel that the effect is going to be a traveling lighter in your life. And there may not be parades in your hometown or shit like that, but you'll
Right.
just travel lighter, yes? And, and I find that as quite valuable to myself and others. So, and
So what already is and what's already always been there will become clear, if that's, yeah, I don't know if that's even the proper way, or I'll become aware more of it.
you'll become
be a
the
knowing.
interest. There'll be a loss of interest in the puppet show, so to speak,
Okay,
and a gaining of interest in the whole panoramic. Yes.
all right,
Yeah, and it's not initiated or experienced by a singularity. There's not you losing interest. There's a losing interest in you, really. Yeah? There's not a you losing interest in you. There's a losing interest in you. And it may not be the way you think. You may not become saintly and give all your possessions out. Who knows? You may. But there'll be a loss of interest, which I can't explain. Where you thought there would be a loss of interest, there may not be. And where you definitely weren't even noticing there was so much interest, will be. Yes.
okay,
And then it will be, it's almost as if the movers come to the back door and take out a lot of shit you didn't think was going. Yeah.
okay.
And then what you put out in the front, they leave there. That shit doesn't matter. This is what matters. What? Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You may think you've locked the back door, but it's unlocked. Yes, something's
Yeah.
coming, taking a lot of the shit.
Yeah, movers at the back door, and that's yeah, somebody chatted, that's a great metaphor, but that's very it's very clear that the
Yeah,
way in which he said that is actually clear.
like
And
a thief in the night, as Jesus supposedly said.
right, right.
Yeah, like a thief in the night. Yes.
Uh,
What
that
you think
will
is
be
most
interesting to see
valuable,
what
or
gets taken out.
what you think is most valuable or most offensive, isn't the way life may see it. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. All right. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emerson. You ready for Bruce?
I'm always ready for Bruce. Bruce, my boy, what's going on?
Hello, hello again. Wow, unbelievable. What's been this word noticing been popping up a lot lately? Noticing. You mentioned enticing yesterday. Anyway, this the great I am. And it's not I am what or I am who. That objectification you referred to. And then there's always the other, so as long as there's the I, there's going to be the you, like an act of separation almost, but they're going hand in hand. So it's like there's no thing. I am, period. I exist, which to me is also assuming the I, which, Nisargadatta would get into. So not having an identification as an object, that awareness, just the awareness, not of anything, which you also mentioned the other day. So this is it's coming to me now, just sharing it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Bruce. Yeah. a lot of times what was said in a previous satsang lights up in a future satsang.
Yeah, all of it, yeah.
Yeah. Don't you ever have things where you do something and you don't know why, and then a year later it's explained? Yeah.
And that back door thing, yeah, somebody's been coming in the back door and taking the stuff away. The identity is just, it seems to be gradually falling away.
And then you know what happens? I remember when I was no, I won't go there now. All right. Thanks, Bruce.
So, you know, self-consciousness. Okay, I'm gonna get off. Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce. You ready for Steve in San Diego?
Yes.
Hey, Paul. Couple things. Your glove thing reminded me of someone saying, how far do you have to go to get to yourself? You know,
Yes.
it's like I'm reaching, but I'm reaching the wrong way. You know, and it was very interesting you saying that. I had a couple of things happen today that were very interesting. I like chocolate, and people brought chocolates into work. And twice I got chocolates and was chewing them. By the time I got to my desk, I threw them out. I was no interest. And that happened twice. And it's just really weird because it's like I've never experienced something like that before. You know, and it was like it just was not this. And so it was like that sounded like a backdoor thing because I didn't even know it was happening. It just happened.
Yes.
On the flip side, so I was going to go visit some friends today. And because of traffic, I couldn't make it. So I figured out, okay, I'm going to go to this other event and I'm going to rush home to hang out here. So at the end of it, you know, I just cut out early and I started coming home filled with regret. I should have stayed there. I was having fun with people, all that stuff. And I sit here with you and it's just like, oh, there was Steve again, you know, and what's really hard is someone else was saying is the part that's the thing that's always claiming the experience that isn't real. I don't know what you call it, but I'm having a lot of that. It's like I have an experience and then Steve owns it. So I don't know what.
No, you're aware of a lot more of it. That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm aware of more.
Yeah, it's going on. Something is becoming more aware of it. Yes.
Oh, and that was the other part. For a moment, I realized that I was having a thought created the physiological sensation, but I was watching them both.
Yes, this is sort of, yeah. You're observing stuff that you used to look from. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I guess it was good that I left that thing and came here.
Well, yeah.
David, you're.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Anyway. Okay.
Is it anyone else here? Next one.
Guy.
Oh, we have Sky.
So like just going off of that, it's like so powerful when you can like claim the awareness of like, yes, that's what it is. I am actually this taken care of. Like, and like owning that and accepting that. Like, yes, that really did just happen. Like, I didn't even think that this action just took place. I did that with no thought. And I was taking care of it like throughout the whole thing to like help me out later on. Like for example, I went to a holiday party and I got a new black fur coat and was downstairs at the lobby waiting for the cab. And then I walked up because I forgot headphones that I actually had in my purse already downstairs with me. Went all the way up to the hotel room, put on a completely new outfit, jeans, a sweater, and heels. And then I went to the party and there was 7 girls in a black fur coat. And I was like, thank God I didn't wear that black fur coat because I would have been like, ew, I'm just like everyone else. So Spirit really had my back in that. And like, I mean, I wasn't even thinking, I just did, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's- Thank you, Sky. Thank you. There's a great song by a band, Pearl Jam, called Black. One of the best lines I ever heard, which is, I know you're gonna be a great big star in somebody else's sky, but why can't it be mine? It's pretty nice.
I love
I may
that.
have missed a word or two, but I love that line. Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm gonna listen
Yeah.
to that after we pop off.
Yeah, it's very nice. And it has a good thematic riff that goes on to the end, which I like.
Oh yay. I'll bounce on my bed.
Oh, Black. Yeah, go for it. It's beautiful. Yeah. Very yeah, he really pours it out there. Yeah, so there you go, Sky. You got some more stars coming in. Yes. You're the space for all the stars to appear, Sky, remember.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
remember.
There you go. All right. Anyone else now?
Hi, Sky. And Steve in chat wants to know what the song is. If somebody wants to answer.
Black.
Black.
Black by Pearl Jam.
Okay. Oh, Pearl Jam. I
And
remember.
they do a nice acoustic version too, but it's I like it very much. That lyric part, he builds up to it very well. You're gonna be a great big star in somebody else's sky. Wow.
That's depressing.
That's the song of grasping. Yes. Why can't it be mine? Well, all right. Anyone else?
No.
Yes, Black. Black is the title of the song. I'm seeing the chat. Pearl Jam. Black. Paint it black. You remember Black? Yes. All right. Anyone else?
Just me. I was gonna mention how I like the mental imagination of if the two aspects of what we're not, since stuff doesn't end, but you can almost imagine like, well, if we were what we're not, then it would disappear. The universe would end. That idea, just trying to be funny.
Well, yeah, but it's more it's dreaming. I don't know if there's any thing here really.
Well, yeah. In
Dreaming.
fact, that's the other thing that it made me think of is, would it be possible to have a remembering of a night dream about self-inquiry, as though that would be possible to have a third party in there? Because I did have a dream once of realizing I was the Mike character in the dream realized I was the Mike sleeping in bed, and it occurred to me, I was like talking to friends next to a football field, so I walked away from the friends, and I realized if I got in the fetal position that I knew that Mike slept in, that I would be able to contact him, and as soon as I got in the fetal position, I woke up. It had to end. It couldn't. That dream
No,
couldn't
you
go on.
contacted it.
What?
You made contact.
Yeah.
And the whole thing came to an
And
end.
it ended.
Yes.
Yeah. That you can't continue with noticing it because it's not separate to be noticed.
Yes, there you go, bro.
It was very fun.
I wanted to share, if we have a little bit of time, I'm going to give you one of my insane hypotheses. There's an event that I have been under many times. We call it a blackout in alcoholism and stuff. And I was, there happened many times. And so a blackout was pretty interesting because there's a moment when something starts, and when it starts, everything else has to be forgotten. So, and it's sort of like parachuting behind enemy lines. You come to as your idea of Paul in a situation. Now, no one has missed you because you've been there the whole time, but your whole story of you starts there. And you don't know what happened for the last 13 hours or whatever. Yes? And now, so my feeling around that was you got so much drugs or alcohol in you, the brain shut off, the brain which has the, the number uno, numero uno Paul, which it has many of. So the numero uno Paul collapses, yeah? And then another Paul, a substitute, takes over in a half a second and lives 13 hours. It doesn't live, it narrates the 13 hours. And then maybe the brain gets to another point of familiarity. And then the old Paul has to show up, which has to completely forget the other Paul. Or the whole story of being Paul would be blown out of the water. Yeah. How could you be Paul if there's like 30 of them? The whole story of Paul is that it's you from the beginning to the end. It's not like it was you, but for 13 hours there was another one. Yeah. So that's what I felt happened. Something had put so much pressure on the brain, its system collapsed, but it had a backup system to represent and keep the narration going. And that was called Paul. And when other people said to this action figure, Paul, it responded. And actually, I did better under the guidance of the other Paul than I ever did with the Paul, the old familiar Paul. I wasn't in jail. Sometimes I'd wake up with beautiful women, whatever. I would have liked to have that Paul become the numero uno Paul in a sense. But you see how fragile it is. And a lot of things, knowing it or not, are forgotten, like miracles that happened maybe a day ago, incredible, exquisite view into the infinite. Oh, that's forgotten, because that's the job of the Paul. It sweeps up all the debris of miracles and grace and shit like that. It's just incredible, really. So that's my little story. Now, I thought science would see it, the incredible jewel of this description, but no one's ever gotten in touch with me. So, but I believe it's sort of like the movie Moon, where the guy believes it's a him, and then it's indisputed that there's thousands of him, but it's receiving that evidence as the programmed him, which it can't deal with it. Yeah. And this is a beautiful metaphor for the message. The message is not going to be heard by what's the hearer of the message. It's the hearing of the message. Yeah. When it turns into the message has been heard by the hearer, it's neutered. Yes. Yeah. So. And that's message. That's the beauty of it. It's not failure. The failure of the system, if seen through, is success. It's when you stop at the failure and you take yourself to be the thing that failed. If you don't take yourself to be that, there's incredible success because you see a failed system. You see the failed system. There's no need to rationalize it anymore, shit like that, or excuse it. It's failed. Yeah, it's beautiful, really. So, yep, you're not going to get it. Yeah. All right, thank you. Let's say goodbye, hey, unless someone else. Oh, Lynn wants to come in.
Yeah.
All right, come on in, Lynn.
Sorry.
You're lucky you have a one-syllable name, Lynn. If you had 3 syllables, I would have said no. But that looked like it was too heavy to do, but Lynn, fine.
Well, I just was wondering, oh, I just lost. Do you remember, can you mute that, please? I'm sorry. I didn't tell you I was going to go on mic. I'm sorry. Do you remember
Oh, we can hear.
hearing about the woman? I think she was a brain scientist who had a stroke and stayed
Oh
conscious.
yeah, from the
the whole
one part of her brain. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Years ago.
Well,
She had a
I watched, and she actually, it sounds to me, I just rewatched it a week ago or so. Sounds to me like she lost complete use of one side of her brain and was left with the right side, and was experiencing what she said was loss of all thought, like ecstasy, or I should say love, peace. She finally just called it nirvana to give a definition to it. And I've just gotten reinterested in what she's doing, and I'm going to get her new book, Whole Brain Living, and see what she's up to.
Yeah. Report in and let us know.
All right. And do you mind if I give everyone a link to the TED Talk? It's 20 minutes where she describes the experience, or do you think it's confusing for folks?
I have confidence in the people here, so yeah.
Okay.
Don't send it to them.
Oh,
She means in the chat.
No, you didn't send it to them. I'm confident in them. Yes, I'm confident. If I show a book and there's only one letter on the title, they want to know the other letters. They want to know that book. Yes.
I was thinking the other day.
Yeah, that was years ago about that lady with the brain.
Like 2008, maybe even before that. It might have been the 90s.
I was looking at stuff way earlier than that about the brain. There was it always fascinated me that a nice whack in the head can derail the little narrative. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to see where it's being issued from or actually issued through.
Or it does no good. It's just you just create more stories then from that point on, right?
Well, I'm sure that's what the head will do. The head will. Thank God you won't. But
so somebody who gets amnesia, say, they lose their previous story, they lose their past, but they don't lose the possibility of creating a future or creating a new persona. So
can I read something to you, Lynn?
Yeah.
All right, for everybody. This is the I went over 3 paragraphs today. This is the middle paragraph of this little book. What is the best way of killing the ego? I don't like these terms, but just get yes. To each person, that way is best, which appears easiest or appeals most.
So get my brain cut in half, remove half of it removed.
Well, there you go. I think that may be a little bit heavy work, but all right, you can give it a shot if that's what appeals most to you.
No, I never thought of it before I saw this video.
So here it goes. It goes, all the ways are equally good as they lead to the same goal, which is on having never left. That's why they all lead to the same place, because there's no place. Yes, you never go anywhere. So and this is from Teachings of Ramana, someone wrote about him. So I don't know how much the person who wrote about it, but I would imagine their respect for Ramana, they would have kept it what he was saying. Yes. So all the ways are equally good as they lead to the same goal, which is the merging of the ego in the self, the big S, which is everything, in his vernacular. What the bhaktis, the devotional people, call surrender, the man who does inquiry calls jnana. Both are trying to take the ego back to the source from which it sprang and make it merge there. So basically, why everything works is because on having never left. Yes? Yeah. So what taking trips to get there, how does it work? They finally fail you so completely you realize on having never left. Yeah. So to me, what appeals most to me, and here it is, and easiest is satsang. There you go. Yes? Association with truth. Does the job. It reminds you you've never left. So there you go.
Like a warm
But if you
bubble
want to be a
bath.
superwoman and stuff, and I was just watching a YouTube because it was about Buddha and when he got in the Hinayana vehicle, you know, the Buddhism practice in Thailand and Cambodia and stuff. They have a lot of writings about Buddha, and some of them are about when Buddha gets old. Yeah. So Buddha had a bad back and he wasn't looking so good, and his attendant was going, "What happened? You were so bright and beautiful." He says, "Listen, no one escapes old age." Yeah. That's what everyone doesn't want. Everyone wants nirvana. Yes. Everyone wants this part of their thing not to droop. Everyone wants tons of shit. Yes. I take it, man. You want to, you know what's the most reliable is dog shit awareness. Basic awareness of the ordinariness of life. Yes. And, you know, wearing the fur coat or not, you're just like everyone else. There you go. That's so it doesn't matter really. But hey, yeah. Yeah, check out. Maybe she took the other part of the brain out by now. Yeah. Had a complete lobotomy. That would be cool.
Oh God.
I don't know. Whatever works, yes. I
No,
feel.
well, it's fine if she wants to live a happier life, but she still won't be free. Unless she saw something from going through all that.
Well, the thing is, you're inherently free. We're trying to be free as something.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true. Good point.
Where the
Thank you.
free is from it. It's not, see, we're not recognizing, and maybe some of us are, there's an act of being identified, and we're trying to fulfill the wishes of the glove, all the while being the hand. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah,
So,
like what's not me is like caring that I would be matching to 7 other girls. That's not me. I am not that.
that's right. And it's fun. Yeah.
It
It's
is
fun that
fun.
there was intuition. You went and changed your outfit. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, anyone else, or we're gonna take
Yep.
off soon?
Harry. Hi, Harry.
Oh, Harry. Oh,
There we
I
go.
see
Hi.
Harry's hand.
Hi.
Harry.
Hello, Paul. Happy solstice, everybody. Is in working with, like, listening to your metaphor about traveling lighter, which is a big one. Is there such a thing as traveling weightless? Or would that be just not even traveling?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry
think,
about this. I'm sorry. This
if
question's
you
been
were
brewing for me.
weightless, you'd be always traveling. Yes. You wouldn't have to. Yes. There wouldn't be anything that had to be picked up and carried. Yes. Yes. So I don't know. Maybe my next book will be Traveling Weightless. Yes. Yeah.
It's
I'll
just
say,
been,
don't wait for the traveling weightless. Travel light now.
I mean, once you're traveling lighter, do you see it like, do you see yourself as getting progressively more light, or is that just not a pertinent question?
No,
You know?
part of the traveling lighter is you don't see much of yourself anymore. I'm not interested in engaging how much light I'm traveling or not. That's the traveling
Right.
lighter. That's
Yeah.
the traveling lighter. I'm not interested in the topic of traveling lighter. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not watching it. Am I traveling more light than I was yesterday? That's the heaviness I'm talking about. That
Thank you.
constant observation narrating. That's that's an aspect of the policeman that I know many people who have wrestled with the thief and thought they've won are captured by that. Yes. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. It's a perfect example. It's like looking every minute and seeing if you're getting lighter, getting lighter. Oh, darker. It's like, yes, no. You lose interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're interested in what comes and goes because everything comes and goes. Yeah. Today I came into the room and my room faces the backyard, and I had a great fucking convention of one of my favorite birds, which are woodpeckers. 5 or 6 of them showed up, some big ones and some other ones, and I just stood, yeah, because I'm available and I'm present, yeah, and I just stared out the window until their show was called off and they took off, yeah. I had forgotten that completely because I was there completely. It's reminding me now because it has some use.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
But when you're living, memory doesn't play that big of a role, tell you the truth. Yeah. I'm not capturing a moment. I don't have any pictures, very rarely. I don't care about pictures, but I'm not capturing a moment. I mean, each moment has got its own. And then, of course, the always, all the time aspect of the moment is noticed, yes? Where the particulars are like things that were blown by a wind and they get blown out, and your eye doesn't get off the ball of what's always here. Yes, that's traveling lighter. You checking out your condition ain't traveling lighter. No. Yes. I'm talking about your absolute condition that doesn't need to be checked in on all the time. Check in on, yeah, my blood pressure or my digestion. Yes, those things may need to be checked in, but your absolute condition doesn't need to be looked at or observed or watched or examined or checked in with. Yes, it's doing just fine. Completely. And it's when there's the attention on it as you or from you, that's the traveling heavy. And that's what we're speaking about with the opposite of travel. That's traveling lighter. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't really know what my condition, physical, mental, emotional was yesterday. And I don't know what it was 10 minutes ago. And I definitely am not going to know what it is 5 minutes later. Yeah. I find that as a huge aspect of traveling lighter, tell you the truth. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see it? You see the point? It's not
Oh,
what
yeah.
you think. It's
Oh.
not what you think, you see? That not meaning you, Hari. I mean
Yeah.
you, us. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's not what you think. The head sees traveling lighter. There must be a more extreme level, traveling weightless. Yes. Or yeah, it goes into this. And it misses the forest from the trees. Yeah. It starts looking for specific trees to represent the forest. The forest isn't represented by a tree. Yeah. It's something of itself. Yeah. So traveling lighter is a loss of interest, really, my feeling, to this preoccupation of the mental activity. Yeah. Yeah.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Great to see you, honey. And in a well-lit room, you're out of the dark retreat. Eh? That's good. Yeah. Now, this is how I got out of the dark retreat. First, it was semi-dark, then I got to the darkest retreat. Then I got to the dawn retreat. Then I got to the mid-morning light. Yes, it could go on and on and on. Just cut it. Yeah.
Yep.
I love you. I love you. See you, everybody. So I'm going to say goodbye. Hari, Hari's a trip. I like going to her house. Yeah. It throws your perception off. The distance between the table and my mouth was quite different than most tables and mouths. It was very strange. Everything was a little HO scale stuff. It was very cool.
It's gotten even weirder, Paul.
Got to have us over again, Hari.
Yeah,
Sooner or later.
I'm
Yeah.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, as always, thank you for all the, hope your sheet's dried. Or just get another sheet.
No, these are
Is there
special
only one sheet in the house?
special Christmas sheets.
Oh,
Like,
special. Oh, so there you
Oh,
go.
here. Greg
I-
bought them for his sister.
Oh, all right, very nice. Yeah. She's going to be going to sleep on a reindeer. Oh, how nice. Very nice. Anu, as always. Thank you, Anu. Thank you for all your support. And yes. There's a lot of transmission of a lot of feelings here. Gratitude, respect, amazement, joy, relief. Yeah. We got Steve from San Diego. Nice to see you, Steve. Yes. See, your head isn't doing it more. You're just seeing more of it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that you first starting to notice isn't like it just happened. It's been the undergrowth for a while. Yeah. Just our focus wasn't capturing it because it was so tunneled visioned. Yes. So when it opens up to a different aperture, there's not more seeing, but there's seeing more. Yeah. Yes. Good. So, Matthew, good luck, my friend. Yeah. I'll be hearing from you, I hope, Saturday. We got John in Florida. Nice to see you, John. Alan O, another great supporter of Zen Bitch Slap in many ways. Nice to see Alan. We missed Alan in Italy. That would have been nice if Alan O came to the retreat. Maybe the next one, next year. Miss Amelia. There she is. Yeah. You know, Miss Amelia, the kitchen is much warmer than the bedroom. Yeah. I could tell the difference when I walked in. Just observing. I don't know. Let's see. We got Emerson. Nice to see Emerson. William. Stamps. Michael Sherman. Yeah. You know, a lot of people in AA, they had this obsession to drink, and it seemed to really affect their whole life. And many, many times you would think they were waiting for it to be removed. They always missed the removal. It comes later, and they realize, hey, I haven't been thinking about drinking for the last week or two. Yes? Their fucking incredible observation misses everything. They got lost interest in it, got engaged, and then it was that thing that they wanted to witness, the removal of this thing that ruined my life. They would what, and they just notice it. Hey, I haven't felt like drinking for a couple of months. Yeah, it blows their mind. Yeah. All right, Craig May. Yes, nice to see you, Craig. Yeah. Jack G. You know he's going to get it when the wheelchair, I mean, not the wheelchair, the rocking chair stops. There he's paused. Mia, there she is. She's made it to San Diego. Nice to see you, Mia.
We had a bit of a share yesterday, but we lost you, Paul. Sky was chatting and I was talking about the drive up down to San Diego, and I want to just say thank you for everything and to everyone. But I don't know, something happened. The thing froze yesterday. And
Oh,
we
the
all
Zoom.
got
Oh,
into-
yeah.
We all got into chatting.
Yeah, we couldn't get it back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
was
just wanted
fine.
to say thank you again.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I think it was a good point for it to end anyway.
Yeah, and I don't know who
Yeah.
was driving the car either. That was the other thing that came up yesterday. But today's another day. All right,
Yeah.
see ya. Thank you.
All right, Hari. Amelia sends her regards. She's in the other room. David B. Yeah, I like that picture in the back. We got Simon. Simon is nice to see you, Simon. Esteban, always a pleasure. Bill, and I think Kathleen is lurking somewhere. There she is. Bruce, as always. We got Susan K, Miranda, Walter, Lori, Brahmi. Nice to see Brahmi. Nina, oh, that's nice. Nice to see you, Nina. JM, Jim. I think it's Jim. We've got Lynn. Yeah. I think Susanna W. She seems to be warm there. Yes, she's got a. Well, I think that's it. If I missed you, I say hello, goodbye, and see you soon. I'll be there tomorrow, I hope, for the recovery meeting and so on and so forth. Zen Bitch Slap events. The Mexico information is there for the weekend, and we may be doing something in January. We'll let you know. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Nina, I think
Thank you
know
so much,
already.
Paul.
Yes.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
would
Paul.
say